My dear friends, I just want to show you how this bee vacuum works and what is it made of. I got inspired myself from a friend of mine in America, Jeff, who does this more often. So it's not my invention. I think I've used it a few times and I'm happy with the setup. There's many setups out there and some would work better than others, but for you who have saw some of my posts, I just want to show you how this works. I will just run it now and I will take it apart. So it's basically using the head of a vacuum, and yes, the bottom part is where the bees are sucked into, and then basically we have another setup here which we're gonna run separately, and I have constructed some frames just because I didn't have any frames not wired. I didn't want to cut the wires, so I just gonna use this. We're gonna seek to salvage the brood, which is the young bees in the comb, and with eggs and everything, of course. We're gonna put it like on a table after the bees are sucked from the comb. So the comb is exposed, we cut it from where it is. We're gonna cut it roughly to size to fit in the frames, and we're gonna put rubber bands like that, few of rubber bands, just to hold the comb inside the frame. So this is one thing we're gonna do. Then once we have salvaged the comb, the bees are sucked into this bottom box. So we'll have here hopefully 1, 2, 3, 4, depend how big is the colony and how well established it is. And then this goes separate, so this is separate setup like that with rubber bands, but no bees on, because bees have been sucked into the vacuum, into this lower box. And I cannot imagine, I have always often, how do people do these removals with no bee vacuum? There is so much bee death because you basically, your comb is covered in bees. Comb, if it's a newly established colony like the one we're setting off now, the comb is very fragile, it's fresh, so it's just impossible to handle it without destroying so many bees. If it has some honey inside, then it's gonna be even messier. So a safe way is to vacuum the bees. I'm gonna show you now how so we'll just run it. You can see the resuction here. So the bees are sucked and transferred inside there. Now I'll show you, just 1 second. So this is another thing. When you finish vacuuming the bees, I have done some mistakes before, so you learn from them. You have to, while the vacuum is still going, otherwise the bees will just come out. While the vacuum is still going, release this so the bees are not escaping, and then put some sort of lid there that bees are not coming out. I have tried to put some mesh there before. The problem with mesh is bees are trying to get out and they just pile up on top of each other, and you know, they have no air like that. If there is a lid like this, they don't sense there is a window here for them to come out. Now I'm gonna take this apart quickly. You can see we have put a very big cord trying to press each component on each other, because if that's not happening, you have a lot of joints here, air can be sucked out, and then you have no suction in the hose. It happened twice on me. If by a chance, so you're sucking a lot of bees and then they travel through here, and sometimes they get stubborn if the suction is not big and they won't go inside, so they plug out here, and you realize oh, I have no more suction because there is a plug of bees here. And then if you open these and you push them on the ground, you have a pile here of bees. You don't want that to happen. So it's important to have these joints sealed so the suction is not lost. I'm gonna open this for you quickly for you to see. So this is just a pretty simple vacuum head. You can use any vacuum head you like. And I have taken the filter off. I have run it with a filter before. I'm not sure what to say on this one. I think along with the bees, there's some sort of a waxy environment you're vacuuming in, some sort of air, which is a bit heavier, I think, and could plug up the filter. Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but I had the impression that on an instance before, I had no more suction because the filter got really kind of waxy something. So I take a risk of vacuuming with no filter, and you can see here, that there is no danger for the bees to come into the motor of the vacuum because I have this mesh. Now, as you see, I have this seal which you use for the windows and doors, just trying to seal everything. This, I have another seal here. So this is basically where the head of the vacuum sits. You can make one according to the shape of the vacuum head you have. And then you basically have this, is like a drawer, you see? It just, you know, a simple plywood, very thin, with some wire mesh to keep the bees there. Yeah, and when I vacuum, this is on like that. So bees cannot come up. They will be sucked into this bottom box. You can see this comes off, and they will, okay, I'll take this separate for you to see. See, that is the lower base. It's made a little bit like that in a slope to make it easy when the bees are coming for them to go up rather than, you might be able to get away with something else, I'm not sure, but that's how I thought it works. And then you put your normal bee box, and I have pretty much clean plastic frames for the reason you don't want to stay like in a box with nothing. There'll be clusters of bees everywhere on the box. In this way they can go up on the frames and stay there, okay, until we do the job. Now this is one, when we finish with the removal, this box should be full of bees. I'll show you one second. We have a queen catcher, so we're trying to catch the queen. Sometimes this is not possible, but hopefully this is the best. If you can catch the queen like that, pinch it, and she's not able to come out from wherever she is, and then we just lay her here so the bees can smell her and have some comfort that the queen is with them. Last removal I've done, I have vacuumed the queen. I just couldn't see it. Sometimes that's not possible. So you have to vacuum blindly, piles and piles and piles of bees. Thousands of bees are being vacuumed. So that's difficult to find one queen among them. But let's hope that this is gonna work for us. And when we come home, what we do, so we have this top box. We're gonna, exactly like this, we're gonna take the head off, the vacuum head off, gonna put this box on top like that, just like that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 5 frames of brood here. And then what we're gonna do, well, we'd like to do this kind of at sunset, if possible. That's why I'm planning to go now. It's like 4 or 5 o'clock now, and then we're gonna and then we're gonna release this drawer. We're gonna pull this drawer out, and the bees are gonna escape from the lower box, being drawn by the brood, by their brood. And we're gonna release the queen onto the brood here, and of course there'll be a top here, and that's kind of the end of the process. Until next time, I say God bless you.